Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's Time for Coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Josh Dick. So as I said in the introduction, if someone knew you back in college, they would not have said you would be doing what you're doing now. They wouldn't have predicted that because you were a poli-sci major. You had spent 3 summers interning in DC. Was that because you were thinking maybe going into politics or think tank or government or something like that?
All of the above. I think I was just fascinated and intrigued by the world of government and Washington, D.C. and think tanks and policy and international relations. And all of those elements got me excited. And I think as my career progressed, if you were to look back on it, it's this collection of lots of different experiences that each kind of pointed me in another branch of life. And I think my summers in DC gave me this incredible exposure to Capitol Hill and the State Department, but also a bit of a frustration with bureaucracy and the pace of things and the way things worked in government that sort of said, boy, what can I do in my career to get a little more global exposure without being consumed by the system of government? And I think that's how I pivoted to try finance and investment banking. So it really was this sort of winding road that got me to entrepreneurship.
I think just as we taste different types of coffee to figure out what flavors work best for us, it's the same thing with what we study in school and the internships we do and the jobs we have after we graduate. It's hard to know until you try what actually fits with maybe your vision of the kind of life you want to have. You don't know until you do it.
100%. I talk a lot about the idea of looking for your dream job in my book. And that was really how I kind of see my life in some way. I tried a lot of different things, maybe tasted a lot of different coffees. And each time I learned a little bit something about myself and what was important to me in my job and my career. And that sort of helped me navigate to my role at Ernex and ultimately my new dream job, which is living here in Italy. So it's been a really positive progression of learning and trial and error and evolution.
I think that's such an important point, Josh, because the fact that you mentioned error, some people would say, oh man, I was in such and such a job, I hated it, and would see that as somewhat of a failure. It isn't. It's the natural progression. It's the way that you brew the right cup of coffee. It's trial and error. Flashing back to when you were at Yale, you were studying political science. Did you know what you were going to do with that poli-sci degree when you graduated?
I had no idea. I really looked at it. It was something that I had the luxury of pursuing. I was really a straight liberal arts major, trying things, tasting things, everything from my political science classes that fulfilled my major, but also taking courses in art history and literature and geology, trying to get a little bit of taste of everything where it fit within the academic curriculum. And I really didn't know what that was going to do, but I thought it was just shaping me. And most importantly, out of college, I think I gained 2 things that helped me in business. One was my writing skills, the way I can communicate as a writer. And I think second, college taught me an ability to read for the bias of the author, which I think serves you very well in any profession you might pursue.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And tell me if this resonates with you, Josh, because one of the things that I've landed on as a result of interviewing hundreds of professionals like you is that rather than thinking of our major as being the tiny house that we're forced to live in for the rest of our lives, because I think so often that's the way it's portrayed. We should view it as the foundation of a professional skyscraper that we're building over the course of our lives, with each new job and each new career adding a new floor in that skyscraper.
100% agree. And as you noted earlier, I was an investment banker for a few years. I hated it, but I would do it over because I learned so much, and it taught me so much about myself and also about other things that are very important to my future career. So I went through that experience, and I might not have been happy the whole time, but I stuck it out. I fulfilled my commitments and obligations, and I took something of value that helped me know that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, but gave me some skills that I used everywhere else.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee, 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.